नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णभृत्याय भूतले प्रभुपादति प्रिय श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुभक्तरास बिहारी भक्तिव्यचात्मदायिने। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णभृत्याय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto. Fifth canto we are starting now. All right? Yeah.
One milestone.
Yes. So, as I'm saying that the chapters are quite short and we have studied already a lot. So we should be able to race through Canto 5. All right. Chapter 1, the activities of Maharaj Priyavrat. This chapter describes how King Priyavrat enjoyed royal opulence and majesty and then returned to full knowledge. King Priyavrat was detached from worldly opulence. And then he became attached to his kingdom. But finally he again became detached from material enjoyment and thus achieved liberation. When King Parikshit heard about this, he was struck with wonder but he was somewhat bewildered as how a devotee with no attachment for material enjoyment could later become attached to it. Thus, in astonishment, he questioned Shukadeva Goswami about this. In response to the king's inquiries, Shukadeva Goswami said that devotional service, being transcendental, cannot be deviated by any material influences. Priyavrat had received transcendental knowledge from the instructions of Narada, and therefore he didn't want to enter a materialistic life of enjoyment in a kingdom. He accepted the kingdom, however, at the request of such superior demigods as Lord Brahma and Lord Indra, the king of heaven. Everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, and everyone must act accordingly. Just as a bull is controlled by a rope tied to its nose, so all conditioned souls are forced to work under the spells of the modes of nature. A civilized man, therefore, works according to the institution of Varna and Ashrama. Even in materialistic life, however, no one is free to act. Everyone is compelled to accept a certain type of body offered by the Supreme Lord, and thus be allotted different grades of happiness and distress. Therefore, even if one artificially leaves home and goes to the forest, he again becomes attached to materialistic life. Family life is compared to a fortress for practicing sense control. When the senses are controlled, one may live either at home or in the forest. There is no difference. When Maharaj Priyavrata, following the instructions of Lord Brahma, accepted the royal throne, his father Manu left home for the forest. All right. One is coming in home, the other is leaving home. Maharaj Priyavrata then married Barhishmati, the daughter of Vishwakarma. In the womb of Barhishmati, he begot 10 sons named Agnidra, Idmajiva, Yagyabahu, Mahavir, Hiranyareta, Grita Prishtha, Savan, Medhatithi, Vitohatra, and Kavi. He also begot one daughter whose name was Urjasvati. Maharaj Priyavrat lived with his wife and family for many thousands of years. The impressions from the rims of Maharaj Priyavrat's chariot wheels created 7 oceans and 7 islands. Of the 10 sons of Priyavrata, 3 sons named Kavi, Mahavir, and 7 accepted sannyas, the 4th order of life, and the remaining 7 sons became the rulers of the 7 islands. Maharaj Priyavrat also had a second wife, in whom he begot 3 sons named Uttama, Raivata, and Tamasa. All of them were elevated to the post of Manu. Shukdev Goswami thus described how Maharaj Priyavrat achieved liberation. So, remember the Prachetas. So, it was about Grihastha Ashram, how to enter Grihastha Ashram. Now, this is the story of Priyavrat, who was actually renounced everything, but she was forced to enter Grihastha Ashram. Why? How all this happened? This is a great subject of curiosity. Text 1 together. Rajo Vacha Priyavrato Bhagavata Atma Rama Katham Mune Grihe Ramata Yanmula Karma Bandha Parabhava. All right, Mirabai, you can read verse.
Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit inquired from Sukdev Goswami, O great sage, why did Priyavrata, who was a great self-realized devotee of the Lord, remain in household life, which is the root cause of the bondage of karma, fruitive activities, and which defeats the mission of human life? Purport. In the fourth canto, Sri Sukdev Goswami explained that Narad Muni perfectly instructed King Priyavrata about the mission of human life. The mission of human life is to realize oneself and then gradually to go back home, back to Godhead. Since Narad Muni instructed the king fully on this subject, why did he again enter household life, which is the main cause of material bondage? Maharaj Parikshit was greatly astonished that King Priyavrata remained in household life, especially since he was not only a self-realized soul but also a first-class devotee of the Lord. A devotee actually has no attraction for household life, but surprisingly, King Priyavrata enjoyed household life very much. One may argue, why is it wrong to enjoy household life? The reply is that in household life, one becomes bound by the results of fruitive activities. The essence of household life is sense enjoyment, and as long as one engrosses his mind in working hard for sense enjoyment, one becomes bound by reaction of fruitive activities. This ignorance of self-realization is the greatest defeat in human life. The human form of life is specially meant for getting out of the bondage of fruitive activities, but specially meant for getting out of the but as long as one is forgetful of his life's mission and acts like an ordinary animal, eating, sleeping, mating and defending, he must continue his conditioned life of material existence. Such a life is called Swarupa Vishmriti, forgetfulness of one's real constitutional position. Therefore, in Vedic civilization, one is trained in the very beginning of life as a brahmachari. A brahmachari must execute austerities and refrain from sex indulgence. Therefore, if one is completely trained in the principle of brahmacharya, he generally does not enter household life. He is then called a Neshtika brahmachari, which indicates total celibacy. King Parikshit was thus astonished that the great King Priyavrata, although trained in the principle of Neshtika brahmachari, entered household life. The words Bhagavata Atma Rama are very significant in this verse. If one is self-satisfied, as is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is called Bhagavan Atma Rama. There are different types of satisfaction. Karmis are satisfied in their fruitive activities, Jnanis are satisfied to merge in the effulgence of Brahman, and devotees are satisfied to engage in the Lord's service. The Lord is self-satisfied because he is fully opulent, and one who is satisfied by serving him is called Bhagavata Atma Rama. Manushya Nam Sahasreshu, out of many thousands of persons, one may endeavor for liberation, and of many thousands of persons attempting to become liberated, one may achieve liberation from the anxieties of material existence and become self-satisfied. Even the satisfaction, however, is not the ultimate satisfaction. The Jnanis and Karmis have desires, as do the yogis, but devotees have no desires. Satisfaction in the service of Lord is called akama, freedom from desire, and this is the ultimate satisfaction. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit inquired, how could one who has fully satisfied on the highest platform be satisfied with family life? The word para abhava in this verse is also significant. When one is satisfied in family life, he is doomed, because he must already have forgotten his relationship with the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj describes how the activities of family life implicate one more and more. Atma patam graham andha kupam. House life is a dark well. If one falls into this well, his spiritual death is assured. How Priyavrata Maharaj remained a liberated Paramhansa even within the family life is described in the next verse.
Right. So it doesn't sound like quite a gloomy picture, right? Of household life. So So this first section, the purport. So here say that the essence of household life is sense enjoyment. Is it true?
To an extent, of course.
To an extent. Okay. Is it true? Hmm? A certain extent. Is it true? Essence of I'm asking, right? How many will say yes? It's happiness. It's happiness in no? How many say no? Okay, so essence.
It's a happiness, but it's an illusion like a mirage in the desert. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the essence of household life is sense enjoyment. But everybody say yes, but then say, is it happy life? Everybody says.
जब तक नहीं पता होता है तब तक हाँ, लेकिन जब अक्ल आती है बुद्धि आती है तो ना
हाँ, पर तब तक बहुत लेट हो जाता है.
अगर जल्दी साधु संग मिल गया तो अच्छी बात है, अक्ल आ गई नहीं तो फिर मुश्किल.
Actually, in Kali Yuga, nobody is enjoying life in family life. That's why we are saying it's not good. Right? In Kali Yuga, this family life has become so painful. So that's why even as we are reading, the essence of household life is sense enjoyment. You say yes, but then you say no, there's no happiness. Right? Because of Kali Yuga. Right? Because the children are not proper, and therefore they don't become proper husbands, they don't become proper wives, they don't become proper in-laws. Right? So the entire society has become contaminated, and therefore they become source of pain to one another. Right? This is one thing. And then the sense enjoyment that you could have get now, this is being captured by the government, by employers, right? You have to work hard, right? And you work hard, and then the government comes and captures what you have, right? Exploiters, everybody, right? So therefore you think, like I just heard this person saying that empty planet, his talk was about empty planet. So what's that empty planet, So he's describing urban life and rural life. So the number one thing he said that in urban life, only 1 or 2 children. All right? Rural life means many children, because many children means many hands to work. And in urban life, it means many mouths to feed. Right? Is it true? This is what he's saying. He's making his presentation. Then second thing, he said that in urban life, religious life is low. In rural life, this is a Westerner, this is a talk in, I don't know, American or, I don't know who he is. This is from the West. An analysis of, he's making the presentation, the planet Earth is emptying out. So second is that, no religious interest. Okay? And third thing is that the clan, there's no clan in urban life. Clan, groups, community. See, that's why everybody lives for their own self, right? They don't look, towards each other's needs. Like I keep describing, if there is a wedding, there's no caterers. In my time, there was no caterers. Who perform all the wedding? Everybody, all family members will come. Everybody will come, start peeling the potatoes, cleaning the rice, cleaning the dal. It's a festival. This is what I saw, right? But now we have to pay caterers. Why? There's no community. So this is what he described.
But Mansi, don't you think this is there
Yeah.
in the West now, at least in the ISKCON community? Because the amount of weddings that I have eaten is I have cooked. It's like you don't get Indian cooks there, right? You don't get Maharaj to cook or Indian caterers much. The entire community, somebody is good in gulab jamuns. I have made 500 gulab jamuns for somebody's wedding. Devotee.
I'm speaking here of the society. It's the world.
The world.
I'm speaking of the world.
But these
Yeah.
things are still there when you are saying that community. Because
Yeah.
we there, the temple is in the center and we are all a
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Here I'm describing about society in general.
In large, yes, of
At
course.
large. So that was his presentation, that in the urban, that clan, the community,
feeling.
there's that, it's not there, meaning everybody is personal. They live only for themselves. They don't share with others, right? So these are what urban life. So therefore there is misery, right? There's misery. There's nobody there to help you when you're in trouble, right? Whether it is financial trouble or somebody is sick, right? So it's not there. And then you are here with your children, and then your children migrate somewhere else. An old woman, husband and wife, they die all alone in their house, or they go say, let's get a home. Now people are opening up homes. Let me put my entire life saving has to go for the homes, right? And I just read this, that it's such a thing that when however many days you are living, your whole life saving is going there, and what is left for your family members. And they make sure that you leave the rest of your wealth as donation for the homes, right? I just saw that stuff. So what I'm describing here is that here the essence of household life is sense enjoyment, but everybody is saying no, it's not happy. So why it's not happy? So I'm describing why it's not happy, right? Whereas actually family life is happiness. That's why people get married, right? Because they expand, they have so many children, they have the aunt, they have everything. People want to be with other people, like Krishna, Krishna is not happy to be all alone. He is expansion, right? Krishna means expansion. So similarly, we poor Jiva Atma, we come in this material world, we want to expand. But now Kali Yuga is making us become very sorry. Right? Stay with your one child, 2 children, right? Whatever I have just described. It's become very difficult. And then, so the essence of household life is sense enjoyment, and as long as one engrosses his mind in working hard for sense enjoyment, one becomes bound by the reactions of fruitive activities. Okay, let's leave aside Satyuga. Satyuga was a time when everybody was Paramahams. Okay, so let's take Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga, when contamination has started. Right? And I heard in Dwapar Yuga it was large family. That's what I heard. In Dwapar Yuga, this dynasty and all that, meaning very happy. Now, meaning we didn't go back to what I heard in Satyuga, right? We don't know how many Satyuga we've been through. I don't know. Nitya Baddha, right? We escaped Satyuga. Treta Yuga, now sense enjoyment is increasing in Treta Yuga, right? Are we going to discover here? I think in this chapter itself, or anyway, some Bhagavatam section, how Treta Yuga comes. So then after that came Dwapar Yuga, large families, right? Now the remnant of all this is coming into Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga nobody wants large family, right? Because of the suffering. But everything is coming from sense enjoyment. So if in Treta Yuga we are so happy, so we are working very hard and we are getting sense enjoyment, so we don't see that tomorrow Kali Yuga is going to come and we fall in Kali Yuga. You follow what I'm describing? This Baddha Jeev, don't think this is our only birth. Alright? Anadikal, right? We are going from yuga to yuga, right? We are not getting liberated. So because we've had the taste of sense enjoyment in this family life, we continue to take birth. So therefore, I heard Radhanath Maharaj saying that the best of all ages is Kali Yuga. The best of all. Why?
You can chant.
Why? Why?
Hare Nama Eva Keval.
Why? There is so much suffering in this Kali Yuga.
That you are.
Alright? This Kali Yuga, the best of all ages, because there is so much suffering. You have to say, yes, this material world is suffering. But there is one problem. There is one problem in Kali Yuga. Manda Sumanda Matayo. Alright? We are lazy in our intelligence. We are foolish. Manda Sumanda. Lazy to practice devotional life sadhana. Manda Bhagya. Our good fortune is so slim. So it's like a huge contrast.
I was young and I completed my education and I was working. So whatever salary I was getting, it was quite sufficient. And it had the money also had a value. But these days we see that how much we earn, the youngsters, their salaries also quite high, but then the value of the is gone down.
Inflation, value of money has gone.
Yeah, but when I was young, maybe even the 1,000 rupees had so much value, and we could buy also so many things into that much, and still keep a savings. That much enough for me for the entire month. But now, even if I earn 50,000, 60,000, it's not enough for the month. Why like that?
She already said, because it's false money. It's actually false money. It's just paper money. Right? So you can give any value to it. It's false money. Anyway, this is explained. I can't get into this. It's explained in the first canto. Prabhupada explained about this whole economy. It's false money. It's not real. So that's why Prabhupada says, have land, you grow your food, keep a cow, you have sufficient to eat. Like even the other day now we are offering these courses, dressmaking. So this one lady, she was saying that, she never took the pain to learn, computer, all this, so how she's earning is through dressmaking. So I told her it's very good, because computer changes every year. Right? Programs change every year. And every year you have to go on learning, right?
Yes.
Whereas your stitching didn't change one stitch. Right? Is it true? So which is a safer way of earning? Right? You see, all of us, we are redundant in the market of work. But we don't know computer. You're with computer, but you have to keep on upgrading. Every year you have to keep up upgrading. And then they check what do you know, then they take the youngster, they're faster. Right? So this is false economy.
And they work for whatever salary they get. When it comes, they see that you are experienced, so your expectations will be more. So they disqualify us.
Yeah. Okay, so you know the story, right? So why it is?
Same thing, no, Mataji is saying nowadays. See, if you go to buy handloom is becoming rare because हाथ का काम है, and it is becoming more expensive, and it is something which is exquisite nowadays. Handloom cotton, handloom silk, my God, you can't touch it. Whereas the powerloom things, the same thing for 50%, but handloom is handloom. That is now over a period of time it will become like an antique.
Yes. Anyway, everybody understand what we are saying here? The essence of household life is sense enjoyment, that everybody has described now how it is miserable, and we have explained why it has become miserable. Alright? Okay? So, anyway, in the Vedic civilization, they had vision. Alright, what's their vision? They know that whatever enjoyment you may be having now, it will be over tomorrow. As you descend from Treta Yuga to Kali Yuga, everything is over. It's the same you, okay? It's the same you who is transmigrating and coming here. Meaning we've been made a complete fool by material nature. Maya has made us fools. Right? So therefore, the Vedic system is learn sense control. The human form of life is specially meant for getting out of the bondage of fruitive activities. But as long as one is forgetful of his life's mission and acts like an ordinary animal, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, he must continue his conditioned life of material existence. Such a life is called Swarup Vismriti, forgetfulness of one's real constitution position. I'm on text 1, the first paragraph. So therefore, in Vedic civilization, one is trained in the very beginning of life as a brahmachari. Alright? Because family life starts with... family life means man and woman together. So therefore, the Vedic civilization first give all knowledge about sense control. Right? This is brahmachari life. As you are saying, the youngster, they earn huge, but they spend. Whereas the brahmachari doesn't spend. Alright? He doesn't spend. He knows how to keep because there's sense control. And so here, King Priyavrata is a Naishtiki brahmachari. But Naishtiki, meaning he had no intention to get married. See, there are two types of brahmachari. One who is being trained and then he will go home and he will get married. And now here, King Priyavrata, he is Naishtiki brahmachari. How is it that he entered household life? So this is like something that Parikshit Maharaj couldn't understand. So he asked this question. So now he speaks of Aram, Atma Aram, who is self-satisfied. So the Supreme Lord is said to be Atma Aram. And the devotee is also called Bhagavat Atma Aram. See, unless we are satisfied, we will keep on looking for satisfaction elsewhere. Alright? The karmis, they are not self-satisfied. Therefore, they run outside looking for objects of sense gratification. They keep on inventing, like, this crazy thing about computers and all this digital stuff. It's literally sense gratification for the inventors. Is it true? It's a sense gratification. You've invented something. Why not be satisfied with it? Why better and better, smaller and smaller? Like just now, all of you got me a laptop. I look at this, I can't make head or tail of it. The language has changed. They have a program. The language, I can't understand how to print, I couldn't understand how to open, how to close. Everything has changed. Then I'm looking. I said, but what are they doing? You know, this is just a jugglery, mental jugglery to make you. Never mind. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, the language. They've changed the language of the computer, right? The language of the computer. You know, I'm looking. Where's my notebook? Right? Where's my pen and paper? It's so much easier, right? Anyway, so why? I'm taking this example because Prabhupada was speaking about this. Okay? The karmis, they just want to invent something new and new and new, right? Because it provides some sense gratification for them. The jnanis, they have seen through all this. Alright, they know this is all Maya. This has no substance to it. So it's better leave all this behind. But they don't want. What do the jnanis don't want? What they don't want? Jnanis. They don't want to serve Krishna. They you know, they have seen, you know, this whole material world is useless, it's false, you know, false enjoyment. So, get it out of the way. But then they are not ready to serve Krishna. Alright? So therefore they say, what to do? Let me merge in Brahman. This is where they're finding their own satisfaction. Okay? So the karmis, they are finding their satisfaction in invention, in making so many plans, you know, how to conquer this earth, how to conquer and control. And the jnani is saying, you know, you go on conquering and enjoying here and I'm not interested. So let me go out, but what will I do? Aram in the Brahmajyoti. I will sleep forever.
That means the jnanis have the knowledge of whatever, the Vedas, the Upanishads and everything. But in spite of knowing it, that they have no surrender.
They don't want to surrender. Actually, it's not that what happened, they read it, but they make as if they don't understand. Right? Everybody is reading Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is reading Bhagavad Gita, translating Bhagavad Gita. Everybody, karmis, yogis and jnanis, everybody is reading Bhagavad Gita, but nobody is saying surrender to Krishna. Same Bhagavad Gita, right? So when your eyes are closed, you pretend not to see. Even you read, you don't see. You don't understand, right? So unless we are simple, and when Prabhupada is poking to the ear, poking, and you say, okay, yeah, Prabhupada, what are you saying? Right? So the jnanis, what they want, merge in Brahman. But the devotees, what do they want? Yeah, they want to engage in the Lord's service. The Lord is self-satisfied because He's fully opulent. And one who is satisfied by serving Him is called Bhagavat Atmaram. Okay? To be happy, to be satisfied in serving Krishna, rather than looking for one's own satisfaction in different ways. What does that mean, that the devotee is satisfied in serving Krishna?
He has no other desire. He just desires Krishna.
Yes.
He is satisfied with what is right.
Yes. Yes. And simple instruction Krishna gave to Arjuna. Fight for the sake of
Me.
Yeah. Fight for the sake of satisfying me.
That's what
Just fight for me. That's it. Whether there is success or there is failure, you just do it for me. Right? You do it for me. And Krishna is not promising that you're going to have 100% success. No. There's heavy losses, huge losses from both sides. Right? The Pandavas lost their child. They lost Abhimanyu. They lost the 5 sons of Draupadi. They lost so many. Only the Pandavas survived. Right? And it was such misery for Arjuna. Such misery for Draupadi. For Yudhishthir. Such misery. Right? The Supreme Lord Krishna had some program, and you can't question what he is asking you to do. We read somewhere. We read somewhere that the Supreme Lord is engaging everybody according to their own karma. And you can't question, why this child is born in my house, why this child behaving this way, right? What he has, what he doesn't have. You can't, everybody's helpless in all this. Everybody's helpless. But when you are a devotee, when you surrender to Krishna, when you say, Krishna, whatever you have sent me, let me just do it as duty. Alright? Let me just do it as duty. Satisfaction.
It also becomes not like,
Sorry?
9 to 5 duty. That duty also doesn't become like 9 to 5 duty. That duty gives lot of pleasure. It gives a lot of, strength. And it indulges one into so much of love for Krishna.
Yes, like Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, right? He did what is superhuman work, right? Between 70 and 80, you should read, everybody should read Lilamrita. I keep on saying it. Just read if you want to know who's a devotee, who is satisfied in serving Krishna. Read Prabhupada Lilamrita. Yes. So the devotee's satisfaction in service of the Lord is called a kama, freedom from desire. And this is the ultimate satisfaction. Parabhava. When one is satisfied in family life, he is doomed because he must already have forgotten his relationship with the Lord. Then how Maharaj Priyavrata, he remained a liberated Paramahamsa even within family life. Alright. Text 2. So this is an example now. We have described the Prachetas, so many things, but now this is a description of a king who wanted to, remember King Uttanapad and King Priyavrata. Who are they? Sons of Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. Okay, so the descendants of Uttanapad have been described. Now, who is being described? Priyavrat. Text 2. Nanunam mukta sanganam tadrishanam dvijarshabha grihesha bhineveshoyam pumsam bhavitum arhati. Yes, Devahuti.
Translation. Devotees are certainly liberated persons. Therefore, O greatest of the Brahmanas, they cannot possibly be absorbed in family affairs. Purport. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that by executing devotional service to the Lord, one can understand the transcendental position of the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be understood by any means except bhakti. The Lord confirms this in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14.21. Bhaktyaham ekaya grahaya. Only by executing devotional service one can appreciate me. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Lord Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati Simply by discharging devotional service, one can understand me. Thus, for a bhakta to become attached to family affairs is impossible, since a bhakta and his associates are liberated. Everyone is searching for Ananda or bliss, but in the material world there can never be any bliss. It is only possible in devotional service. Attachment for family affairs and devotional service are incompatible. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was somewhat surprised to hear that Maharaj Priyavrat was simultaneously attached to devotional service and to family life. Is this clear?
What's the problem? Text 3. Mahatam khalu viparshe uttamashloka padayoh chaya nivritta chittanam na kutumbhe spriha matihi.
रुक जाओ। वो गिर गया है क्या? कवर
Hare Krishna. Translation. Elevated Mahatmas Elevated Mahatmas who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are fully satiated by the shade of those lotus feet. Their consciousness cannot possibly become attached to family members. Purport. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Ye Chayaye Jagat Judaya. He describes the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityanand as being so nice and cooling that all materialists who are always in the blazing fire of material activities may come under the shade of his lotus feet and be fully relieved and satiated. The distinction between family life and spiritual life can be experienced by any person who has undergone the tribulations of living with a family. One who comes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord never becomes attracted by the activities of family life. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.59, Paramad Dristva Nivartate. One gives up lower engagements when he experiences a higher taste. Thus, one becomes detached from family life as soon as he comes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord.
So now, how to remember that Kali Yuga, the best of all ashrama is Grihastha ashram, right? This is what is prescribed for Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, it was Paramahamsas, right? Then we saw in Treta Yuga, then Grihasthas came. Even this Varnashram was not there. We will read that in maybe 12th canto. There was no Varnashram in Satyuga. Then in Treta Yuga, then it has to be set. Then it became more prominent in Dwapar Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, the safest, the best ashram is Grihastha ashram. Alright? So how to live in Grihastha ashram and at the same time be bhakta? This is what's the lesson that Krishna wants us to learn from this section of King Priyavrata. So that's why so many verses, pounding upon us, family life is like this, is like this. But at the same time, he's how to be bhakta. All right? So the science is being taught here. So Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Ye Chaya Jagata Jurai. So this is Narottam Das Thakur who described that the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda is so nice and cooling that all materialists who are always in the blazing fire of material activities may come under the shade of his lotus feet and be fully relieved and satiated. Why Prabhupada has quoted Nitai? Nitai Padakamala. Why Nitai?
Because he was a householder. He's our guru.
Yeah, he's our guru, his householder, yes. And what did he do? Nitai?
He serves Krishna.
Nitai, what is his specific characteristic? Namhata. Alright? Nitai started the Namhata, meaning the householder preaching. Alright? He was an avadut, he was a brahmachari, right? And Mahaprabhu told him, go and enter Grihastha life. Alright? Alright. He was happy with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu told him, no, you go and enter Grihastha life. And he started the Namhata program everywhere. And this is what today we have. Family life. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is quoting Nityananda. So when there is tribulation in family life, then if we come under the shade of the lotus feet of Nityananda, Gaur Nitai, there's relief. That's why every householder should have Gaur Nitai at home. In India, people don't appreciate Gaur Nitai. They want Laddu Gopal, maybe Gujaratis, I don't know, and Radha Krishna. They don't want Gaur Nitai. Now, no, I'm speaking of devotees.
Devotees is like nothing. They had the old God.
Laddu, yeah, we know, but even when they want to get deities, they want Radha Krishna or even Laddu Gopal. They don't want Nitai Gaur.
They feel
Right.
it's very, I mean, उनको वो थोड़ा सा standard से ये, I mean, Gopal is also Bhagwan and
They don't understand. Now you understand why?
भगवान के
Alright.
दर्जा नहीं दे पाते.
Now you understand why? Gaur Nitai? You understand why? So if you study this section, you'll understand why Gaur Nitai. See the connection?
Absolutely.
Nityananda came as a householder and he propagated the Namhata movement, you could say. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a householder for a few years only. In youth, 24 years old, he took sannyas. 24 years old, alright? He took sannyas. And he walked throughout India. Who did he preach to? Okay, everybody get Chaitanya Charitamrita. How to read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who did he preach to? Yes, who did he preach to?
Everyone, but mostly the brahmacharis and sannyasis.
He preached to all the intellectuals. Alright. He preached to the intellectual. He was just out defeating the philosophies. This philosophy, that philosophy. But who went to the masses? To the family people? Nitai. You understand this?
So his preaching was to a different class and his preaching was to a different class. He approached the intellectuals and those, and he approached the householders.
And why did Mahaprabhu approach the intellectuals? Why? Why did he preach to the intellectuals?
Because what the, what the people at the top do, the common masses.
Correct. You understand? And Srila Prabhupada did the same thing. Prabhupada, why do you think that ISKCON today is different from what Prabhupada set up? Why? Again, read Lilamrita, you'll find out.
That time, now the more householders are there. That time, more brahmacharis were there.
Prabhupada preached to the intellectual class. When he went to America, he caught the intellectual class. Those who could not follow the principle, they just moved out. But when he went to the West, he caught the attention of the intelligent class. And that's why today ISKCON exists. Right? Then they started preaching to the masses. Right? Same strategy. In 10 years, all right, in 10 years he could do this. If he would have preached to the masses, there would be no ISKCON today. But he preached to the intellectuals who got convinced, who understood, and he won their faith. So even though they were young people when Prabhupada left, they were below 30. They were in the 20s when Prabhupada left. But because intellectually they were so convinced, right? And they became completely, absolutely sold out to Prabhupada, his philosophy, right? Completely convinced. And you see Jayapataka Maharaj, right? Right? No, I'm speaking of the mass preaching, right? That Namhata program, right?
Yes.
All right. You see, Radhanath Maharaj mass preaching. Why?
Going to school, college, universities, he's not
Why?
even
Okay. So this is like, spreading from one intellectual person. You see Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, Indradyumna Swami.
targeting that. But you will also see with the change of leadership, with Modi coming in, now that thought of that Sanatan Dharma and all that is, again, actually that Sanatan word had only disappeared in the previous era of the government, right? Again, that word is like everywhere. At least people are saying, getting inquisitive, because at the top level he is putting his focus that way. This one has to accept.
Yeah. Okay. So,
And I was just the other two also was thinking, if this time if Prabhupada would have been alive and he would have made a very pro government like this, things might,
it's going on because it's a change, it's like Mahaprabhu's come and something is going to happen for 10,000 years only.
10,000 glorious years.
10,000 years only. This is transition between Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. It's a Sandhi. So it's like grace mark. And by good luck, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come at that time. And why? Because Krishna came, original Krishna came 5,000 years ago. Okay? So I read it again. Elevated Mahatmas who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Person Godhead are fully satiated by the shade of those lotus feet. Their consciousness cannot possibly become attached to family members. So Prabhupada is speaking of Nittai in the purport, because Nittai has opened the shade, Namhata, right? Where householders can find shelter. Alright, so every householder please install Gaur Nittai. Text 4. Samshayoyam mahan brahman daragara sutadishu saktasya yat siddhir vabhut krishne cha matirachyuta. The king continued, O great Brahmana. Who is the king? Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah, he's asking, O great Brahmana. Who is the Brahmana? Sukadeva Goswami. This is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like King Priyavrat, who was so attached to wife, children and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? Purport. King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children and home could become so perfectly Krishna conscious. Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matirna Krishne Parato Swatova Mitho Bhibhadyate Grihavratanam. A Grihavrata, one who has taken a vow to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is because most Grihavratas are guided by sense gratification and therefore gradually glide down to the darkest regions of material existence. Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamisram. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? Maharaj Parikshit asked Shukdev Goswami to resolve this great doubt. 1 minute. Okay, now it's going to be all prose. The Sanskrit is going to be all prose and I don't know how to read it. Text, and I think most of this fifth canto, a lot of it is prose. So together. Badham Shri Shuka Uvacha Badham Muktam Bhagavata Uttama Shlokasya Shrimad Charanarandam Makaranda Rasa Aveshita Chetaso Bhagavata Paramahamsa Daita Katham Kichit Tinchit Antaraya Vihatam Swam Shivatamam Padavimna Prayena Hindrati. Madhuri? It's a very long
Translation. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, what you have said is correct. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised in eloquent, transcendental verses by such exalted personalities as Brahma, are very pleasing to great devotees and liberated persons. One who is attached to the nectarian honey of the Lord's lotus feet and whose mind is always absorbed in His glories may sometimes be checked by some impediment, but he still never gives up the exalted position he has acquired. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sukadev Goswami accepted both of the king's propositions that a person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness cannot embrace materialistic life again, and that one who is embraced materialistic life cannot take up Krishna consciousness at any stage of his existence. Although accepting both these statements, Sukadev Goswami qualified them by saying that a person who has once absorbed his mind in the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may sometimes be influenced by impediments, but he still does not give up his exalted devotional position.
It's a very long purport and quite complicated also, so we'll try to analyze. Okay. So here, Shukdev Goswami is accepting the statement of Maharaj Parikshit, right? So somebody who's in Krishna consciousness, how can he fall in material life? All right. So here, Shukdev Goswami is saying that although accepting both these statements, Shukdev Goswami qualified them by saying that a person who has once absorbed his mind in the glories of the Supreme Person Godhead, may sometimes be influenced by impediments. That happens to all of us, right? We start off very enthusiastic. We take to Krishna consciousness, very happy, and then suddenly, gradually, we find we're doing other things, thinking differently, wanting something different. So here, Prabhupada is saying that, yes, it may happen that some impediment may take place, but still he doesn't give up his exalted devotional position. How? Let's read. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there are two kinds of impediments to devotional service. So we should note this down. Two types of impediments. The first is an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. If we offend a Vaishnava, then we may fall. This is called Vaishnava Aparad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned his devotees not to commit Vaishnava Aparad, which he described as the mad elephant offense. When a mad elephant enters a beautiful garden, it destroys everything, leaving a barren field. Similarly, the power of Vaishnava Aparad is so great that even an advanced devotee becomes almost devoid of his spiritual assets if he commits it. Since Krishna consciousness is eternal, it cannot be destroyed altogether, but advancement may be checked for the time being. Thus, Vaishnava Aparad is one kind of impediment to devotional service. So what happens when, what are the symptoms of Vaishnava Aparad? Yeah, so what are the symptoms?
You lose interest in devotion.
Yes, you actually lose interest in devotional service. You can't chant. You don't feel like chanting. Right? You find it a drag to offer your food. Right? You're not interested in satsanga. Madhurya Kadambini described those symptoms. He said these same most potent item, like the Charanamrita, you don't care for it. The Mahaprasadam, you don't care for it. These are the symptoms of Vaishnava Aparad. So however much they come to the temple, be in the association of devotees. No. Sometimes, however, the Supreme Person Godhead or his devotee desires to impede one's devotional service. So one is Vaishnava Aparad and another is the Supreme Lord himself is creating some impediment. Right? For example, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were formerly Jaya. Two types of impediment. One, one's own. We do something wrong, Vaishnava Aparad, and sometimes Krishna is doing something. And the example is given of Jai and Vijay. But here the point is that it doesn't matter whether it's by your own fault or by the wish of the Lord. Once we have taken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot lose that spiritual asset. That's why people very quickly come back. Once like that period of purification is over, they come back. Following the orders of his superiors, Swayambhuva and Lord Brahma, Priyavrata accepted family life, but this doesn't mean he lost his position in devotional service. Krishna consciousness is perfect and eternal, and therefore it cannot be lost under any circumstances. Because the material world is full of obstructions to our advancement in Krishna consciousness, there may appear to be many impediments, yet Krishna, the Supreme Person Godhead, declares in Bhagavad Gita, Konteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranashati. Once one has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. So that's why we find that Srila Prabhupada, he made the brahmacharis, but then gradually he says, enter into Grihastha life. Right? Because he didn't say that if they enter Grihastha life, they are going to lose their Krishna consciousness. If that would have been the case, he would not have told them enter in Grihastha life.
So he was so confident in them.
Yeah, because of on the strength of what we are reading here, the life of King Priyavrata. So it's not only sannyasis and brahmacharis who can be Krishna conscious. Grihastha also, but there is a method. Alright? There's a method. What is the method? Again and again we are reading the same thing. What's the method for Grihasthas to become Krishna conscious?
Keep Krishna in the center of their life and do everything.
No, household sankirtan, household preaching. Like
The method is, first quarter it is brahmachari training.
Acha, brahmachari, okay.
Alright, this is the method. First brahmachari training. So all these women here should send their children for brahmachari training. Okay? Then grihastha, then vanapras, and if they are qualified, sannyas. Alright. It's not that we are going to be happy-go-lucky, enter into family life and be Krishna conscious there. No. Again and again the same message. We have to come out from family life. But we cannot come out if we haven't had the training of brahmachari. It's very hard.
So it is like being in the family life but being detached to the...
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So how are we going to be detached unless there is some understanding? Right? So, yes. So here, Priyavrata was asked to accept family life. So that was the, like Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda, you enter Grihastha life. Put an impediment in his path. Right? No. In this verse, the word Shivatamam is very significant. Shivatamam means the most auspicious. The devotional path is so auspicious that a devotee cannot be lost under any circumstances. Meaning once you which verse from Bhagavad Gita is describing this? No. Which verse? Nehambhi
Kamanasosti.
Yes, meaning once you enter this path, once you enter this path, once you enter, there's no loss, no diminution. Even if there may be a fall down, but very quickly we come back. It is Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Konteya hi name bhakta pranashati. So therefore the path of Krishna consciousness is most auspicious. This is described in Srimad Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself. Partha naiveha namutra vinashas tasya vidyate. My dear Arjuna, for a devotee there is no question of being lost, either in this life or in the next. This is 6.40. In Bhagavad Gita 6.43, the Lord clearly explained how this is so. Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labhate parva dehikam yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kuru nandana. By the order of the Lord, a perfect devotee sometimes comes to this material world like an ordinary human being. Because of his previous practice, Such a perfect devotee naturally becomes attached to devotional service, apparently without cause. A natural devotee. Alright? Despite all kinds of impediments due to surrounding circumstances, he automatically perseveres in devotional service and gradually advances until he once again becomes perfect. Bilvamangal Thakur had been an advanced devotee in his previous life. Alright, so Prabhupada is giving an example here. But in his next life, he became greatly fallen and was attached to a prostitute. I heard he was a sannyasi. He was a sannyasi. Bilba Mangal Thakur. He was a sannyasi in his previous life.
His story is
Yeah, you know.
like Saint Augustine. His story is somewhat like Saint Augustine.
Oh. Okay, so but in his next life, he became greatly fallen and was attached to a prostitute. I mean, Sachidanand Maharaj, in one of his lectures in the Govardhan retreat, he told a horrific story about Bilva Mangal Thakur as a sannyasi in his previous life. Anyway, I don't have time to go through it.
I read like he was so attracted to that woman.
Yeah, who that woman is?
But he swam through.
Yes. Yeah, this is this life.
Yeah.
In this life, this is what he did. I'm saying in the previous life. Alright, his previous life. He was a sannyasi who was feeding, anyway, I don't want to get into it.
वो अपने गुरु की देह पे भंडारा करना चाहते थे और
Yeah, anyway, so it's going to take too much time.
प्रीवियस लाइफ में
Yes.
फिर वो राजा की बेटी को बोल गई थी, उसको गाड़ा तो उसका सोना लेने गए तो उसने बोला मेरे पलंग के नीचे सोना है, मेरे पिताजी को बोलो, उसने दिया, फिर उससे भंडारा किया, फिर और कम पड़ गया और ब्राह्मण आ गए, फिर वापस वो गया. Yes.
Yeah. It's a horrific. So that girl became that prostitute.
That girl became, yes.
Law of karma.
That lady
Law of
tells
karma
him,
is so.
"You don't have anything with me, you go back. You have come
Yeah.
through this dead
But in his next life, he became greatly fallen and was attached to a prostitute. Suddenly, however, his entire behavior was changed by the words of the very prostitute who had so much attracted him, and he became a great devotee. In the lives of exalted devotees, there are many such instances, proving that once one has taken to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. Meaning that they are exalted devotees, something has happened in previous life that suddenly they fall down. But how they pick up again and become exalted, nobody can explain. Alright? Many instances like this. Great devotees, everything is perfect. And then suddenly they do something, big scandal. Why they are doing like this? Nobody knows. Something from past life has suddenly caught up with them. But then again here Prabhupada is saying, they go up without explanation, because you don't know the whole movie, right? Past, present and future, nobody has seen. The movie of life, right?
He's the director.
Oh my God, what a story. But the point is, once one has taken to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he cannot be lost. Kanteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. The Supreme Lord comes and picks us up from wherever we are. Right? He sent Narad Muni, he sent the gurus. Right? He sent the disciples. The fact is, however, that one becomes a devotee when he is completely free from all reactions to sinful life. As Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 7.28, Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandvam mohom nirmukta bhajante mam drida vrataha. Somebody can worship Krishna, drida vrata, only when the duality is no. Oh, should I worship Krishna or should I enjoy sense gratification? Should I give my money to Krishna or should I keep for myself? Right? This what's it? Dvanda moha. All right. This duality, do, don't do, do, don't do. Right? Harassed. The soul is harassed. Mind is harassed. Give or don't give, give or don't give, you know. When he's all done with all this, anyway, Krishna has to be merciful to us. On the other hand, as Prahlad Maharaj said, Matena Krishne parato swatova mitho bhipadyate griha vratanam. A person who is too attached to materialistic family life, home, family, wife and children, so on, cannot develop Krishna consciousness. These apparent contradictions are solved in the life of a devotee by the grace of the Supreme Lord, and therefore a devotee is never bereft of his position in the path of liberation, which is described in this verse as Shivatamam Padavim. Oh my God, we have spent half an hour discussing only that.
That word is the most auspicious.
And whole half an hour to explain this word. Shivatamam Padavim. Meaning that the lotus feet of the Lord is all auspicious. Once we have taken to the path of devotional service, we have accepted the shade of the lotus feet of Nitai. Even if there is an up and down in our spiritual life, Konteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashati. Alright, that's why it is auspicious. Alright, I don't think we're going to finish so soon. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.